Okay, so this is where we last left off, right? We just finished making our down payment to Haley Bros, right? We successfully, or in this case, right, we made a purchase order and they required a third of a down payment. So there it is. Okay. So we did our journal, we did our subsidiary ledger, and update our general ledger. So let's go ahead and see what the next transaction that we have here. Okay. So in this case, right, we purchased from restaurant supplies. So we went to the store and purchased from restaurant supplies on an account. You financed a cash register for 12 months with 0 APR. Payments are going to be due after 12 months. Will be subjected to an 18% interest. Okay, so in this case, right, we went to restaurant supplies and we bought a cash register and we financed it. Okay, so this is where we have financing. Okay, now in this case, right, when we understand when we finance a particular item, it's not an accounts payable. An accounts payable is where you pay within 30 days, right? A finance, right, if we're doing this, it's going to be considered a notes payable. Now, what does a notes payable do, right? We don't necessarily have to pay all of it off within 12 months, right? We can defer payments, we can extend payments, and also request for deferral. So in this case, right, this is becoming a notes payable because we owe a vendor a specific amount. However, right, there's a catch to it, right? In this case, this obligation could be extended, right? Instead of paying it within 12 months, I can pay it over in a span of 3 years, right? 36 months, right? It's negotiable. So in this case, right, if this is a finance option where we're going to pay a total for the cash register over a 12-month period, right? They give us a grace period of no charging interest for 12 months to be a total of, 0%. But if I do go beyond the 12 months, right, deferring my payment and say, I'm going to pay you beyond the 12 months, they're going to charge you an 18% interest. All right. So in this case, let's take a look at this receipt. So we actually went to the store and we picked it up and we set up an account. So then we have, again, this cash register on an account. So in this case, June 6th, 2020, we purchased a cash register for $599.99. We get charged tax of $49.50 to give me a total of $60.49.49. Okay, so, and of course I paid it on an account, right? My account right here is account number 569812. Okay, so how am I going to journalize this?
It's a purchase, no?
It's a purchase of what? What did I buy?
Register.
All right, do I have an account for a cash register?
I think so. Let me see. Yes.
Yes, we do. What account number is that?
10,300.
So let's see, cash register is for 10,300. No, it's not.
No, it's not that one.
No.
No, cash in register. That's one. No, it's not this one.
No, that's correct.
Oh.
So in this case, what is my actual account?
We do. It's 14,050.
14,050. Okay. So let's go ahead and make that note here that we bought a cash register. Account number 14,050. Now in this case, how did I pay?
An account payable.
Now in this case, this is what I just talked about, right? An accounts payable is a guaranteed payment at the end of a given period, right? Where we're looking at a notes payable, right? A notes payable allows you to pay beyond, right? It allows you to defer payments.
To defer the payments.
So in this case, do we have a notes payable account?
Is still a liability or not payable?
Yes, it is. Notes
Yes.
payable is indeed a liability. So in this case, yes, we do. What
Okay.
account number?
Yep. 23,000.
23,000. So here you go. You're going to have a notes payable.
Mm-hmm. It is
23,000.
Yep.
Now, in grand total, how much was my cash register?
649 and 49 cents.
Okay, so this one, right? This is for the previous one, we had 2 items where we had to split the tax. In this case, the tax is already this for this one item. So in this case, right, it makes it easier for us to recognize how much my historical cost, or in this case, the actual cost of the asset is, right? It is for a total of 64,949. Okay, good. Now in this case, since I didn't write a check, however, I need to make sure I write information in regards to this transaction. So who did I actually buy from?
From Restaurant Supplies Inc.
Okay. And since I put it on an account, what's my account number?
569812.
Okay. And again, I'm going to also put that I financed 18%, or in this case, okay, well, actually, financed, right? 12-month 0 APR, right? 0% APR, and then 18% interest after 12 months, right? I could put all that information in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So since my journal is done, where do I need to go next?
To the ledger.
You need to go to the ledger. Okay, so in this case, right, what accounts did I use? So what's my first account?
Oh, the cash register.
Yes, right, we bought a cash register, so we need to increase our assets because we bought a fixed asset. So in this case, anything that you want to put into the cash register, you can put in here, right? You could say it was $5.95 plus sales tax.
Yep. The amount just. Okay. Oh, the receipt number, cell receipt register 00.
Okay, if you want to put that too, you can.
Reference.
General journal number 2, right? And because I bought an asset, I acquire assets, right? How much was my total amount here?
649.49.
Good, 649.49. Right? Now, this is the first thing that we created a liability for, right? Because we owe Restaurant Supplies money, right? So in this case, I'm going to go to my liabilities because this is the first time I'm creating a liability, right? I have my notes payable right underneath, okay? It is June 6th, right? In this case, you could say I bought a cash register, financed 0% APR, right? For 12 months. And if not, I'm going to put comma 18% interest.
Interest. So not payable. It's just when you pay on payment, you have payments.
Correct. When you finance something and you make payments on an item, right? And of course, with that, right, these kind of payments you can defer, as in request the bank or request the company to extend your payments. Okay, so in this case, it could be a current or it could be a short. It could be a current or it could be a long-term note, like that you owe them, right? You can owe them for 12 months. You can extend it out for 36 months, okay? You could pay off the whole thing in 10 months if you wanted to, okay?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, but yes, when you usually have payments, it's going to be considered a notes payable. Mm-hmm. Post reference
Is journal number 2.
Mm-hmm. And this time, am I going to increase the amount that I owe or decrease the amount that I owe?
Decrease.
No, we're increasing, right? Because we owe restaurant supplies $649, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are we increasing or decreasing our account?
It's credit. Is liability. Is credit is on the other side there.
Yeah.
That's what I was meaning.
No worries. So in this case, right, whatever you see in your journal, you're going to copy it into your ledger exactly. So if I have a debit in my checking account, I'm going to debit my ledger account for that same amount. If I have a credit, I would do the same thing in my ledger, right? However, the account balance on my ledger account is where you're going to have to recalculate. Okay, so in this case, I owe restaurant supplies $649.49. Okay.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and take a look at our subsidiary ledger. Okay, because this time we have something from restaurant supplies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go. National Bank office supplies, restaurant supplies, okay? Here we are. Date is going to be the 6th, right? We're still on the 6th. What can you enter here? Well, you can enter in that you financed this for 12 months, 0% APR. Okay, and of course, you're going to get charged 18% interest after 12 months. Okay. All right. And of course, you can add your account number. Let me see. My account number is 569812. 569. Okay. All right. Now, what's my invoice number? What's my sales receipt number?
001487.
001487. 001487. Okay. Post reference once again. General journal number 2. Now, because you bought it in store, right? Were you given any terms?
You have a term. If you don't pay on after 12 months, you have to pay 80% extra, no? Interest.
Okay, so in this case, you need to receive your first bill to know when is your bill due every single month, right? So in this case, right, we don't know because we haven't received the bill yet. So we don't know when my next bill is going to be paid or when my next bill is going to be, like how much I have to pay my bill. Okay, so in this case, I don't have a terms just yet. We have to find out when we
when we receive the bill.
Correct. Okay. Now in this case, how much was the receipt for?
For 649 and 49 cents.
Okay. And in this case, because I placed it on an account, did I make any returns? Did I get a
Nope.
discount, or did I make a payment?
Nothing.
Nothing. So in this case, right, I'm going to take my invoice amount, subtract any prepayments, subtract any returns, subtract any discounts, and subtract any payments. So therefore, this is my first accounts payable account that I actually owe. I owe restaurant supplies $649.49 because I haven't made a payment yet. I did not make a deposit or a down payment. I owe them $649.49 for the cash register that I just bought.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And that's how you go ahead and fill this out. But as we go through each and every scenario, we're going to progressively go through this again and again, and we're going to keep adding and adding and adding more details to the ledger itself.
Ledger.
Okay?
Mm-hmm. You don't have to record the sales receipts anywhere except on the ledger.
Yes, I mean you can put it in all your in all the places. So if you don't have it on your subsidiary ledger, you can put it in your journal. You can put it in your general ledger. It's just in this case, like right, I don't really necessarily have to put too much information in my general ledger because you should definitely put all the information it is in regards to proof of a transaction in your subsidiary ledger. Okay. Now in this case, I went ahead and did that anyway on my journal, but my general ledger, I didn't really do it that much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Again, since this is your books, if you don't know what that transaction was or you don't have a reference point to it, it only makes it better for you to understand because again, you're the one that's handling the books. If I were to look at your work and I would not be able to determine, let's say you didn't put anything in there, I wouldn't know what your transactions are. But you would because you're the one who put it in there. But let's say fast forward like a month later, are you going to be able to remember that transaction?
No.
Exactly. So putting in notes in specific areas would definitely help you. The more descriptive you are, the better you'll be able to know what happened here or what that transaction was.
Now, how you have a place to put the order, the purchase order. You don't put the this kind of purchase even if it's financial anywhere except on the ledger.
In this case, I did not build a form that has it in there, but if it makes sense to you to create an extra column for it, go for it.
Mm-hmm.
In this
On the
case,
same order, on the purchase order, or or you put it something separate that you order sells.
it's
I don't
whatever
know.
it's whatever you need to build it so then it makes more sense to you. So if you want to put it on the actual in this case, if you want to put it on the purchase order, you could put it on the purchase order. If you want to put it in the subsidiary ledger, you could create a column for that if you need it. Any extra information is good enough for you, but in this case, I could just put it in my notes. I don't need to create another separate column for it because what if it doesn't apply to other vendors?
Now, all of this kind of stuff, you have a receipt for all of these and invoice and absolute. What you doing with all of this invoice? You stick to the ledger. You put it somewhere
Well,
specific, or
yes. So in this case, right, since it's a proof of a transaction, right, where do you keep it? Well, you can make a box or you can keep it in a box because that's proof of a transaction that has happened, right? But again, nowadays, right, we are so, technologically advanced that instead of having to hold on to those receipts, right, oftentimes like credit cards, they hold information, right? If you have a credit card that has a chip on it, it pretty much holds all the information. So,
all the
mm-hmm,
information.
mm-hmm,
You don't need to keep the receipt
you don't
anymore.
need to keep a receipt anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. As long as you know which credit card you used, you could look up that information by looking through the chip on your credit card. Okay, same thing here, right? We can take a picture of it and then throw it away, right? But of
Oh,
course,
that's good.
in this case, right, especially with QuickBooks, right, we can scan a copy of our receipts and invoices and bills and stuff,
Oh, that's
and
good.
have a copy
Mm-hmm.
of it in the computer. But in this case, right, if you
Mm-hmm.
are looking into a business, your best bet is you should definitely keep all your receipts for any reasons that you could get audited for any reason, and at least you have the actual physical proof that a transaction has happened by having the actual original copy. So again, a copy of your rent contract.
Yes, contract and
Yes, you
most
can
important.
scan it and have it and email it. That's obviously fine too. But again, you definitely want to make sure you have at least a
A copy.
copy. Yeah, whether
Copy
it's a
also.
physical copy or not.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
hmm So there we go. We have that. So there we go. We did our journal, we did our ledger, and we updated our subsidiary ledger. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So then finally, it is the next day, and let's see what we have here, right? We hired LV Remodeling Company to remodel the store. All right. Any
Mm-hmm.
transaction there?
At the moment, no. Receive Robinson recommendation bill.
Okay. Well, we're first right there.
And I just
We're on the first
oh
one.
the
We just hired LV Remodeling.
we don't have anything there.
Yes, because all we did
No.
was simply just hire them. No bill was done. We don't even know if the job is being completed right now. We don't know what's going on. All we know is we hired them to
Mm-hmm.
design the store. Okay, that's all we know. Okay.
Again. The
Yes.
second time.
However, it is good to know, like to keep a mental note, so then you have people coming into your store, right? To fix your store. You can't just give them the keys and say, okay, you do what you got to do. You kind of have to be there to make sure that the remodeling company is doing right. Okay, that you don't want
Yeah.
them to steal anything in that place.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then this case, right, we're hiring them and we don't know whether the job has been completed. Now, most constructions, right, if they're remodeling, it should take about a couple days, maybe even a week. If they're painting, if they're tearing down walls, if they're building something, right, usually it will take a couple days. So they haven't billed you yet for completing the remodeling project, right? However, Miss Kim Robinson was successfully right because in order for us to remodel using the company to remodel the store, that means Kim Robinson's design is complete, and she ended up sending you a bill, right? That says, "Hey, you owe me $1,000 for consulting fees, and here is your bill. It is going to be due in 3 days." Okay?
He didn't even do anything, but he sent a bill for just recommendation to do this and that.
Well, I mean, yeah, you would consult with a designer before you
Yeah.
you you have somebody remodel your
To
store,
yeah.
right? Would it? Yeah, you can't just come up with an idea and be like, okay, I want you to remodel it, right? You can, but in this case, we hired somebody to give us an idea of how the coffee shop should look like, right? You definitely
Mhm.
want to seek a professional because they know more than you do, right?
No, yes, no, but most of the time is have to be a like a project. No, they send you a project. You do this, you can do that. You build here,
Well, in
build,
this
and
case,
then
right? That's
have to
exactly what
check.
we're doing, right? We're trying to
Yes.
build a business and we're trying to open up
Mhm.
our coffee shop store. So, in order to do that, we need to have someone to come in and be like, take a look at my store. I want to remodel it.
Yeah.
I wanted this to be a better coffee shop than the previous one. So in this case, maybe they need to remodel, the counters because
Okay.
you need new counters in order for you to have coffee on it. You need to build it. You need built-in refrigerators. Whatever reason that you need to have something, maybe the
Mhm.
sink needs to be in a specific area.
Mhm.
So again,
Yeah.
there could be, yeah, you do need to seek somebody for that to,
Decide.
get your
Okay.
design
Yes.
right? You wouldn't buy a home if you don't have a clue on what the model is, right? You want to have
Yeah.
someone to consult with you to design your own home. So in this case,
Mhm.
that's exactly what we did. We paid her to design our store, but we hired LV Remodeling to do the construction work.
They can.
Okay, so one is a designer and one's a construction.
One is a constructor.
So in this case, the designer already said, well, my job is done. So here's a bill, right? You owe me $1,000. It's going to be due in 3 days. Okay, so in this case, right, are we obligated to pay now?
Nope.
No, we're not. We have 3 days to pay, right? So let's go ahead and plug this into our journal, right? Because we have 3 days to make a payment. So in this case, right? Oh no, it's the 7th now. Okay.
The 7.
In this case, right? I'm going to say, well, for someone to come in and take a look at our store and give us an idea of how to design the store, I'm going to call that a business expense, right? Because in this case, right, it's not technically, I'm not doing advertising. There's no bills there's no other expenses that are related except for I'm having consulting fees. Someone is trying to do so. I'm going to create that as a business expense. Okay? And because we are not obligated to pay now and we're going to pay later, we're going to be creating an accounts payable account, right? We're owing somebody money.
Yes. You have to pay.
So in this case, what account number is going to be my business expense account?
6,200.
6,200, okay? So business expense for account number 6,200, okay? And then, of course, it's a liability, right? We owe money, so therefore, we're going to increase it with a credit with accounts payable, okay? Which is account number?
Which, let me see, account payable to the 20,000.
20,000, okay? Now, in this case, how much do I owe Kim Robinson?
$1,000.
$1,000, okay? All right. So, in this case, since I am not going to be writing a check or anything yet, I have all the information I need to put in my description, right? I worked with Kim Robinson. Right? Kim Robinson. All right. Why did I get her? For interior design recommendation. Okay. And I'm giving an invoice number, right? What's my invoice number?
Let me see, it's here. 1542.
1542. And how many days do I have to
3
pay her?
days.
I have 3 days. So in this case, we understand that in accounting or just in business in general, net 3, right? Net means at the end of the day or at the end of the given time period, which is
You have to pay in 3 days.
you have to pay in 3 days. Good. Okay. There you go. My journal is now complete. So, what is the next step we have to do?
Let me see what we have to do. Oh, the ledger and the...
Yes, we got to do the ledger. Okay. So, here's the ledger. What account do we use first?
Yeah. So the first that we have, we journalized, it was the business expense.
Business expense. So in this case, should be at the very top of the window. Business expense, right? Account number 6,200. Okay. So again, today is the 7th.
The 7th. Yep. It's my birthday, the 7th.
Oh, that's good. Cool.
the same date.
Okay, so June 7. Items, what do you want to say here? Because it's a business expense, you want to be explicit of what this business expense is. Good. Interior design recommendation. Okay. And let's see. What's your post reference here? It is General Journal number 2. Okay. And in this case, did you debit this account? Yes, you did. By how much?
By $1,000.
Right? We increased our expenses by $1,000. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then now we need to link it to an accounts payable account. So we need to go to our liabilities because we owe Kim Robinson, right?
Yep.
So again, accounts payable is going to be at the very top of the window here, right? Our very first accounts payable. So 6-7, okay? In this case, right, best form of information that I can do for this is just the invoice number. Why? Because I can go back to my subsidiary ledger, look up my invoice number, and be able to tell exactly who, how much, and when it happened, right? In this case, I can also look at my journal too, saying that, okay, well, I just got billed for consulting fees. So again, 1542 is all you need. Okay. Post reference, second journal. But this time,
is a credit.
it's a credit for $1,000. Okay. So there we go. Our first accounts payable account is for the total amount of, of $1,000. Okay, $1,000. Okay. All right. So now that we finished the journal, we finished the ledger. We need to now subsidiary ledger. Good. So in this case, we're going to look up her. Now she's an independent contractor. So in this case, she'll be put into the system based on her last name. So we are restaurant supplies. So Robinson should be probably right underneath it. Yes, it is. Kim Robinson. It is the 7th. Okay. Now this is where you can put all the information here, right? Was interior design recommendation. Okay. Invoice number 1542. Okay. Post reference.
Journal 2.
General journal number 2. And this time we were given terms, right? We were given a due date, right?
3.
It was net 3, right? No discount necessary to make a term, right? A terms could be just net 30, right? They don't have to give you a discount unless they want to. In this case, she gave me a term, which is you owe
3
me,
days.
you owe me the money in 3 days. Okay? So in this case, no discount due date. However, we do have an actual due date. And what is it going to be? If I receive the bill on the 7th plus 3, that means I must make a payment to her by June 10th. Okay? And what was the invoice amount for?
$1,000.
$1,000. And of course, I didn't make a payment to her at all, right? So in this case, right, if you run your formula one more time, right, I take my invoice amount, subtract my prepaid, subtract my returns, subtract my discounts, subtract payments. I owe Kim Robinson $1,000. Okay?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go ahead and see what happened next in our transaction. I think will be the last one that we'll do. Okay? And then we'll continue on from there on Monday. Okay? So here we are, right? We just finished received a bill from Kim Robinson. So then what happened next? What did we receive here?
So we received from the furniture store assumed delivery charge is 75% of the counter 25% of the shelves.
Mm-hmm.
So that's from before.
Okay. Okay. So keep reading the bill here.
Mhm. So we have the term ship
Mm-hmm.
date via FOB.
Mm-hmm.
So we have mhm, the item that we received, the counter and the 5 shell,
Mm-hmm.
and the amount that we have to pay.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. We have tax.
Yep.
We have tax.
And
Okay.
delivery charge and
And
everything.
mm-hmm. So in this case, we got charged tax and delivery
Delivery.
because again, right, we're buying a product from a store. They're subject to have to pay. They're subject to charge us tax regardless because it's not like we have a vendor relationship, right? This is just buying furniture, so they're gonna charge us
Mhm.
tax regardless. And then the second thing is they have to carry this over and ship it to our store, so they charged us a delivery charge on top of this. Okay.
Mhm.
So then in this case, right, they sent us a delivery charge of $100. So the grand total is going to be $17.70. Okay. So in this case, right, what did we actually purchase? What kind of assets did we acquire?
We buy the counter and the shelves that we ordered before.
Mm-hmm. So in this case, right, um, so do I have those accounts available in my chart of accounts? Do I actually have an account for the counter and display shelves?
Let me see. Yes, we do. We have
Yes,
a
we
counter
do. We have a counter
and the shelves
and we have display shelves, yes.
displays. Yep.
So we do actually have those accounts. Now, in this case, because we acquired another fixed asset, right? We bought furniture, right? That's considered a fixed asset.
Mm-hmm.
In this
Yeah.
case, right, we need to calculate the total cost of each item. Because in this case, right, we got charged tax and shipping. Okay? Now, in this case, right, let's go ahead and determine. So, since we have the two account numbers, right? So, chart of accounts. So here we have our two accounts, which is going to be 6, 7. My two accounts are
Yes,
my
from shipping
counter and display
and
shelves.
the display shelf.
Okay?
Okay, so the counter is. Yeah, I missed. I lost it. Okay,
It's under furniture.
that's the bistro, the table, and the chairs,
Keep going.
and the counter.
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 Mm-hmm.
13020.
And the
And
display shelves are.
I don't know.
Keep going.
See.
Keep going down the list.
And,
We have the desk set and the display shelves.
what is a desk? I can see that. Oh, here, 1340.
1340. Good. Okay.
Mhm.
So here I have my display shelves and I have my counter. Now in this case, what you could do here on your journal is you can do your calculations on the side, okay? Yes, you can do that on the side to determine how much tax to distribute to each item, okay? So in this case, we know that the counter cost me a total of $1,033, right? While my display shelves in grand total was $510.
110
Okay?
dollars.
Now, if I have tax, how do I distribute tax on my items?
So you calculate one of them uh, and then you subtract for the total amount, no?
Yes and no. In this case, how much tax was I charged?
8.25.
8.25. So in this case, I'm going to figure out what my tax amount for my counter for the
Mm.
tax on that, which is 8.25%, right? And then I'm also going to
Yes,
do the same thing to my counter, right?
but you're gonna have the problem from the decimal again.
Yes. So in this case, you're supposed to do equal round, of course. Okay, but in this case, right, let's take a look. 22, 22, 25. So that's right there. 85,
222.
85, 22. And then this one is going to be
42.
47,
42.
42, 42. Okay, which gives you exactly $127.30. So in this case, this one you're okay to round up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that means my total for my counter right now with tax is 1118.22, and the total for my display shelves is going to be $552.08. Okay, now
You don't add the shipping?
we are going to add the shipping right now. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
So that's just the items that are taxed, right? Now we need to add
Mhm.
shipping. So at the very top of the receipt, right? It tells you that you need to put 75% of the shipping towards the counter and 25% towards the display shelves. Because in this case, right, when we talk about shipping, shipping is based on either weight or size of the box. In this case, because they're shipping this out to the store, 100% it's going to be based on weight. Now, if you think about it, right, you can't split 50-50 because do you think display shelves weigh as much as a counter?
No.
No, of course not. Obviously, the counter is going to be weighed a lot more, right? The counter could be marble counter. That's why it's so expensive. It's $1,033, right? So in this
Yep.
case, what if it is a marble counter? Then yes, you're gonna say then at least that counter is gonna be way more heavier than my five display shelves, right? So that's why in this case, but in this case, we don't know the exact measurement. You can weigh them and figure it out that way, but again, that just is more room for more calculations and preciseness. In this case, I take a look at my package. I have a counter and I have display shelves, and I'm gonna make the executive decision to say, well, obviously the counter is going to weigh more than the display shelves. So in this case, I'm just going to dedicate 75% to my counter because it's definitely more than 50% heavy, while my display shelves is only just 25% of the weight. Okay?
Mhm.
So in this case, right, if I'm going to split it, how much was my shipping?
$100.
$100. So what is 75% of $100?
75.
$75, and then the rest is 25, right? So in this case,
Mhm.
the total amount for my counter is going to be 1193 and 22 cents, while my counter is 1193 and 22 cents, while my display shelves is $577.08. And if I add these up together, right? Do I get my total amount that I owe in my bill, which is a
Yes.
1770.30?
Supposed to.
Yes. Yes, they do add up,
Right.
right? So in this case, now I can say, well, here is my determining factor. I have my counter, which is worth $11.93 and 22 cents, and I have my display shelves for $577.08 to give me a grand total to 1770.30. Okay, right?
Mhm. Yep.
Now in this case, I have a question for you. Am I obligated to pay now or can I pay later?
It doesn't say anything.
Well, I'm given terms, right? How many days do I have to
The
pay for it?
June 7th to be oh, not 15. You have 15 days.
I have 15 days. So
Supposed to
because
pay.
I'm going to say,
Mhm.
let's put it on an account because I don't have to pay now, I can pay later. So then that case, right? What am I creating?
Account payable.
You're creating another accounts payable. Okay? for a total of $1770.30. And again, this accounts payable is account number 20,000. So here, once again, because I didn't write a check out or I didn't make a payment, right, I am able to go ahead and enter in my description of what happened here, right? In this case, I received a bill. Who did I receive a bill from?
From furniture. Kim Robinson Consult.
No,
No,
Who?
no, no, no. Oh, furniture store.
Furniture store, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What was my invoice number?
69.
Invoice number 69, okay? And because it's a bill, right?
Yes.
And I'm not going to make a payment to it, what is my terms?
Is a net 15.
I have 15 days to pay this bill off. Okay? All right? So then now, let's go ahead and plug this into my ledger.
My ledger.
Okay? Since I have everything I need. Okay?
You have to update the purchase order too, or no?
Yes, and that was the last thing I was going to do, but now that you brought it up,
Sorry.
no, it's okay. If that's what you want to do first, that would be great. See, you kept in mind that we had a purchase order for this. So why don't we go ahead and go towards that right now then? We'll go to the purchase order, okay? And in this case, right, yes, we received our counter and display shelves, right? What invoice number was that?
But we have just 543, 69.
That's because that was before shipping and before tax.
Estimate.
Yes, it's the estimated amount because that's what the purchase order is. They don't tell you in details, right, how much the shipping is, because they don't know how much the shipping is, right? They just have to weigh it and ship it out.
It's more than double. It's 543 amount estimated with almost $2,000 you have to pay here.
Wait, hold on. 5,043. You're right. That shouldn't be the amount there. Let me go back into my I think I might have made a typo there.
It's not logical. An estimate is have to be it's 1,543.
So yeah, I missed a number here. So 1,543. Okay.
That's an estimate.
Yes. So in this case, there you go, right? And I received the items, right? And how do I know? I verified it because I received the bill invoice number 69. Okay.
The purchase order you created like that, or that's what you want to know on your purchase order, or is like that, or is a page that is looking
Well, obviously there's different purchase orders that you can do where it's specific to the items, like you actually list them out with the actual person, like, right, if you remember in QuickBooks, right, where we do purchase orders, right, we select the vendor, we select the items of the exact thing that we're buying, right, and then it tells us the amount, right, but if you remember, when we received the bill, for one of the items that we received the bill, we also tacked on shipping because they had to charge us shipping. Now, in that case, right, that's for purchasing inventory, right? It's strictly only used for purchasing inventory. But in our books, right, we're purchasing everything. We're purchasing furniture. We're purchasing assets. So in this case, right, I need to make sure that is going to be part of my asset. So in this case, instead of using a purchase order, you're going to use the fixed asset list.
I have a question. The inventory and what you buy, all the inventory, because that's all the furniture is inventory too, is going inside, or is going inside the inventory when you purchase, when you do, when you write a purchase order, or you put the inventory by yourself inside the computer.
So in this case, right, QuickBooks puts purchase orders is directly correlated to inventory. All of these items are not inventory. You're not going to plan to sell a couch. You're not going to be planning to sell a counter, right?
No.
But in the case of when we do purchase orders as a person who's managing the company, right? This is our track record that when we order stuff, that we keep in track that yes, this is what we ordered, right? Because what if they sent us what if they sent us only 4 display shelves instead of 5? How would we know that?
Yeah.
We would have to verify
You
our
have to
purchase order.
verify the purchase order.
Exactly. So in this case, this purchase order that we're looking in the class is for everything that's in regards to the business, including inventory. But in QuickBooks, it's strictly only just for inventory.
Just for inventory. So you do the purchase and it's going right away to inventory. That's how you can see all of the what you're buying on there.
Correct. Correct. And QuickBooks does it for you automatically. But in this case, when we actually purchase our inventory items, we do have to manually put it into our inventory worksheet.
When we're doing manual, when we're doing on
Manual,
it's
correct.
manual.
We have to
That's
manually put it into our inventory. Yes.
because you give us all the file on QuickBook from all the inventory and everything.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't know if that's coming from the Excel that you did manual, or you can start buying stuff, do the order, do the purchase order,
Mm-hmm.
the bill, when you the invoice and everything, all the process, and then it's gonna go right away to the inventory when you do that in QuickBook. I don't know how.
Yes, that's QuickBooks.
Yes,
but in this
that's
case,
okay.
yes,
That's manual.
this
That
is
you have to write
manual,
everything.
right? This is manual, right? Because in this case, we can purchase more than just inventory, right? Because our job is every time we buy something, we need to keep track of it. Okay, so in this case, this is manual way. This is teaching you. So, this is what QuickBooks does behind the scenes, right? In this case, I'm not buying inventory. I'm just buying regular items. I'm buying just regular fixed assets, and I'm just putting it into my fixed assets instead of putting it into my inventory. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So in this case, yes, we recognize that was invoice number 69. So we did receive what we ordered. Okay. So let's go ahead and go back to the journal so we know exactly how much to put in the ledger. Okay. So go to the ledger.
Yep.
All right. So we bought a counter.
Counter.
So I got to go to assets.
Mm.
Okay, so in this case, if I scroll up here, I have a computer. All right, here's my counter. Okay, so in this case, you can go ahead and put here. Now in this case, it's up to you. Do you want to put the numbers in there specifically, like how much it cost you, right? In this case, what was it?
You put the invoice, no?
You can put the invoice number in there if you like. So this was it. The counter was $1,033, right?
Plus all of the shipping and
Plus the 8.25% tax, plus $75 worth of shipping.
So you have 1,193.22.
Correct. General journal number 2. And we have it for $11.93.22. Okay, $11.93.22. Okay. So we also have to do that to our display shelves, right? We need to go down here to display shelves, right? That's the desk set, display shelves. Same thing here. It is the 7th, except this time I bought 5 display
shelf.
Okay, which cost me a grand total of $510 plus 8.25% tax. Plus, I also had $25 for shipping. Okay, so in this case, general journal number 2, and we got it for $577.08.
0.08.
Good. So last account that we have is going to be our accounts payable, right? Because we received a bill from furniture store. So in this case, it is the 7th, right? Invoice number 69 is all you need because you can always look up the invoice information on the subsidiary ledger, right? And this time we've increased our liability. How much do we owe?
1,770.30.
Good. So in this case, if I increase my liability, how much is my grand total?
2,700. Exactly.
Good. 2,770 and 30 cents. Okay. So now we have that. Let's go ahead and add that to our subsidiary ledger. Okay.
Yep, we have
This
an
time,
account, yes.
yes, we do, under furniture store.
And we have the same, the estimate. There, oh, was something like that.
Okay.
Put it there.
Furniture store. Okay, here we are, furniture store.
Oh, we didn't write anything. Oh no, we didn't write anything.
No, we don't need to because in this case, did we have to pay for our purchase order?
Nope.
No.
And
So
it was an estimate. So
exactly.
We don't know exactly.
We don't need to have a purchase order information into this one. I think that's what you were asking me earlier. No, in this case, no, you don't need to. You can have it if you'd like, but again, not every single vendor will need a purchase order section, right? Okay, so again,
Most.
we can write here that we bought a counter and 5 display shelves. Okay, obviously we didn't make any payment. So in this case, invoice number 69. All right. The
journal.
general journal 2.
2.
Okay. We were given terms.
15. Net 15.
Net 15. Okay. So because we didn't have a discount due date, but we do have an actual due date. And what is it?
15 days.
Right. So give me the exact date.
The 22.
The 22nd of June is when we need to pay. What was the billing information about? Or how much were we being billed for?
1,775. Yep.
Right?
No discount, no nothing, no payment.
No discounts, no payments, no returns. So therefore, I owe a total of 70 and 30 cents. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and save your work here. Okay, and then when we come back on Monday, we're gonna stop here and we'll continue on with the rest of this stuff here. So we're gonna again receive do another purchase order. So we'll come back and complete this, and then we'll actually do a trial balance on Monday. Okay, and this weekend you should look forward to see stuff that is going to be uploaded for week 2